Hello and welcome to Birdsview English. We are excited to share our new platform that will tell amazing stories about the culture, history, and progress of Bangladesh and South Asia. You can watch and listen to us on Facebook, YouTube, and Spotify. At Birdsview English, our goal is to share Bangladesh's story with the world. Through interesting talks, inspiring stories, and expert opinions, we want to show the successes, challenges, and unique culture of this lively region. We are happy to have experts from around the world with us. They will share their ideas on many topics like development, culture, innovation, and partnerships. They will help connect Bangladesh, South Asia, and the rest of the world. Join us as we celebrate and share these wonderful stories. Let's work together to make Bangladesh voice heard globally. Thank you for being part of this journey. Greetings, salam, and a great day from Dallas, Texas. This is Qazi Hassan. Welcome you to the episode number 5 of Birdsview English. Today, we're going to talk a special and very crucial subject. Hope you will be with us throughout the program. We will analyze some very critical issues and answer your questions if you have any. Right now, we are live on Facebook and YouTube, and later on, the recorded program will be available Facebook, YouTube, and some other platforms. Today, we have a distinguished panel of guests. Let me introduce all of them one at a time to you. First, I'm bringing in Ashraf-ud-Dowla. He's ex-diplomat of Bangladesh, ex-ambassador and high commissioner of Bangladesh. He was a freedom fighter, ex-army man. Ambassador Ashraf-ud-Dowla, welcome to Birdsview English. We are so happy to have you on our show. How are you today?
Thank you very much, Qazi Hassan. I couldn't be better. And I would like to convey my greetings, best wishes to your audience through you. And I hope everyone is fine, and to everybody my salam and greetings.
Thank you. We will be right back with you. Now we are introducing Shaikat Rushdee, a political and media analyst. Currently lives in Canada, but his heart lives in Bangladesh for sure. He follows and research on each and every issues impacting Bangladesh life. Regular participant of Birdsview, Bangla and English as well. Shaikat Rushdee, welcome to our show. It's a pleasure to welcome you back. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you, Kaji. Nice to have you again together. And also, I express my respect and gratitude to the panelists and the audience and listeners.
Thank you. We'll be back with you very soon. Now we have Dr. Farooq Sheikh, professor at North-South University, Dhaka. A true patriot, that's what I would say. He's serving Bangladesh, leaving behind his, I would say, lucrative life in the United States. He's trying to do his level best to help Bangladesh people and Bangladesh in putting Bangladesh in the right path. Dr. Farooq Sheikh, we welcome you in Birdsview English. This is the first time you are appearing in this our show. So we are so glad and happy to have you here. Appreciate your time. How are you?
Thank you, Mr. Qazi Hassan. Thank you very much for giving me this forum. And I am humbled by this opportunity. My regards and greetings and salam to all who are listening and watching this. About my doing something to help Bangladesh, no, I can't be that proud. I can't be that arrogant. I'm trying to do my little bit to see if I can improve the education here, to make aware of the people that the process of governance is not so easy. The label of honesty and dishonesty doesn't decide the political future of a country. What really matters is what people actually deliver. And delivering is a practical process. And moral views and moral stances, they are peripheral, they're important, but they are not the one that really steer the country. So I hope that we can together come to understand how to build a country on a robust and a stable path. Thank you.
Thank you. We would like to hear more from you on the subject of the issue. Ladies and gentlemen, Let me tell you the subject of today, the title: Bangladesh Election, Interim Governments, and the Path Ahead. That's what we talk about, and we have people from three different sectors of life. They will be addressing the issue and analyze critically what to expect, how that happened, and what is our future looking like. First, I would like to go to Ashraf-ud-Dowla. Is our initial question, which comes to our mind all the time. If we look at our history, after British went back to their place and Pakistan was a united country, we have election in 1954 and 1970. Those elections were not questioned. But here, the history of Bangladesh, the elections we have, most elections were questioned and it was all disputed. So, as a nation, do we have the capacity to have free and fair election? Ashraf, what will be your response?
Uh, Thank you very much. It's a very loaded question, but let me start. I would say it rather negative. We Bangladeshis are perhaps best in world in handling our crisis. We know, with the whole nation get together, get united to, to resolve a crisis. Once we have resolved the crisis and the stability returns, peace returns, then we do not know how to handle it. We don't know how to handle the peace and stability. So we need to again rediscover, reinvent some kind of stability, so that we can all get together to resolve it. This has been a classic pattern that's been going on since the history of Bangladesh began. Now, yes, you rightly said that in 1954, first election that was held under Pakistan, and it's truly importantly, it is very historical, because there was no question of rigging, there was no question of foul play, and everyone accepted the result. Even the government in power, the Muslim League, they did not make any qualms, they did not raise any question, they handed over power to the Jukta Front. But then what happened? 2 years, the Jukta Front could not retain the power. So they had to start fighting among each other, so much so that the deputy speaker of the parliament was killed in the parliament. And then I think, that was the beginning of bringing, that was the way for bringing Ayub Khan's martial law, which lasted for 10 years. 10 years. And in 10 years, we are all, struggling, we are fighting, we are demonstrating against Ayub Khan, we are having protests and all through. But in 1970, after long, struggle, long campaign, so when the election took place in 1970, and Army League returned, but that after that election history, I don't want to go that history. That's a lot of troubling. There are a lot of troubling things in that history, so I'm not going to say that. So Bangladesh, we went for we launched a war of liberation. We got our liberation at the cost of 3 million people. So after the country got independent, Bangabandhu returned from Pakistan, and the people started aspiring, people started hoping that new days are coming, that there is a dawn of our hope and aspiration. But what happened? Within 3 years, I wonder, Bangabandhu, who has so much of contribution, in this country, political contribution, but within 3 years, a person who has suffered so much, for the introduction of democracy, for the re-establishment of democracy, he was in the jail for 14 long years. What happened then? Within 3 years, the same person destroyed the democracy. He buried the democracy, and he launched a one-party political party. So again, the people became people who are betrayed. People become victim of betrayal. So it continued, and unfortunately, Bangabandhu was killed, and then that made the way for President Zia's emergence. President Zia tried to reinstate the pride the independence, the people's right, and all these things. He gave the confidence back to the people that we are an independent nation, and he had to face a lot of odds. He had to face a lot of opposition from internally and externally. But he was killed. Within 3-4 years, he was killed. So again, Irshad came. So we have been going through this process, and we have been going through this election one after another, rigged election, fair election. But what happened finally in 1990 when the the four major parties, they came to agreement that caretaker government, a system which was, I think, which was one of the most unique system, and it produced a free and fair election. But you know what happened to that. And after 16 years of the despotic rule, the kleptocratic rule, the entire finance, the finances and banks have been robbed by Hasina. Then there is this groundbreaking, I think, the cataclysmic revolution by the students who installed a caretaker government, hoping that he is going to have a free and fair election. But look at the situation. The entire country is against Dr. Yunus. When Dr. Yunus arrived in the country, there was so much of hope, so much of aspiration, and people are looking forward to it. And he also made some missteps with regard to his certain of his declaration, and bringing the students, these young people without any experience, giving them so much of responsibility, and introducing them as his employers, and taking them to Washington, introducing them in front of President Clinton as the mastermind of this revolution. So I think these were not good steps. These were not sensible steps. Having said that, what I say, that at least this, during Dr. Yunus's time, he has undertaken certain far-reaching reform program. But obviously, given his shortness of time, he cannot implement all of them. It takes time. But he's only a caretaker government. But I think you have to analyze, you have to view his constraints, and under those trying some circumstances, the positive things that have happened, people don't talk about it. I don't know, somehow or other, we Bangladeshi are very much prone to discuss about the negatives. We don't want to see the positive things. We don't want to discuss about positive things because it does not give the kick. We get a kick if we only talk about the negative things. So,
Mr. Ashraf-ud-Dowla, please make it short so we can carry on our discussion with other panelists as well.
Okay, I stop here. So maybe
okay, we'll be back to you again. Thank you. Okay. Shaikat Rushdee, very important question. After August 5 last year, Professor Yunus' government took over, and he said many times, as Ambassador Ashraf-ud-Dowla was telling, that while he was in the United States, he said he was employed by the students, student leaders, and so forth. So the question to you is, after the government took over, they created a lot of reform committees. So do you think, was there too many things they put in their plate? And first thing, the first question, and number two, how much they're going to deliver? They have touched so many stuff and make committees, and recommendation came out of that. So what would be the outcome of this? Shaikat Rushdee?
Is this question to me, Kaji?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Undoubtedly, they have too much on their plate, but that doesn't mean that was not the expected number of works they have taken. First thing, this government is an extra-constitutional or supra-constitutional government. It doesn't have a limit for 90 days like the constitutional reform caretaker governments. Those were only assigned to hold a free and fair election, but they are not. They have come through a kind of revolution or mass upsurge to remove an autocratic government, and they had that mandate that time 1 year ago. And that mandate could be people's mandate, but not from the legal point of view. But still, it is not totally revolution because it has kept it framework within the constitutional touch or the legal aspects from the Article 106. Now, the point here, how long they might be here and what are their main purposes. There's too much expectation. Before this show started, we have been speaking about post 1971 newly liberated country. We had too many expectations. I was a 12-year-old boy, and we are dreaming a beautiful country with so many things like a multi-party democracy, a democratic society without any discrimination. But how much we have achieved over the 53 years that we can look back. So if we compare with that 53 years, and if we look right now with the 1 year anniversary of the current government, the interim government, we can think that whatever they have taken in their plate, although I think all are not, they have not fulfilled taking much of the reforms. They should have taken more responsibilities. Like there's no reforms commission in three aspects, like education, defense, and foreign affairs. That those should have been included. In addition, the National Consensus Commission, those who are working, they mentioned the first 6 commissions recommendations actually they considered, not the 5 others, or the first 5, not the 6 others, but actually all the recommendations should have been considered. And there's too much expectation from the people, how much we have achieved. As Ambassador Dowla has referred to, they have done a tremendous job for some of the far-reaching reforms. And I believe if we actually look back with the quantify, not only quality side, if we quantify, the macroeconomic management was the best so far. And inflation was under control, is still under control. But the other expectation, a few things actually is been making people perturbed, like the law and order situation, mobocracy, and some aspect on the media side. Since I have been a journalist and a media and political analyst, I would now to right now I will tell you us about the situation in media. Previously, during the last 16 years of autocratic regime, there are some punitive laws, those who are actually uh, handcuffed the freedom of press. And freedom of not only press, freedom of speech, but those laws are now amended with the the Digital Security Act, Cyber Security Act. Now a Cyber Security Act 2025 has made it easy for the press and others, but still there is some room for criticism for this government, as TIB, Transparency International Bangladesh, has mentioned 496 journalists harassed in 1 year. Harassed. And we have seen the last week 2 journalists were killed in Gajipur one and another place another one. So why these are happening? Are the government responsible for this? Definitely, they are partially responsible, but they are not responsible for killing. They are responsible for failing to provide the security to the people as well as the journalists. And there are also criticism, as we know, the occupying some newspaper offices by the anti-discriminatory students leaders and others. uh, Nobody should actually welcome this kind of occupying, taking over, as it happened in 1972 when Sheikh Moni took over the 81 Motijil commercial area, the newspaper office, the Urdu newspaper office, Pasban, for Banglar Bani. There's no hue and cry that time. But now we can make a hue and cry about these irregularities or these unlawful things. So freedom of speech has returned. Freedom of press is also returned. The cancellation of the accreditation of more than 200 journalists or non-journalists, and also imprisonment of 27 journalists or editors, whoever, those are actually being propagated highly that the freedom of press has been curtailed. But there are certain allegations against those who are imprisoned now. I believe that they will get the justice. And also the accreditation procedure, I was just looking before coming to the show. My accreditation card I got in 1980, and the serial number was like 78 or 75. So that time, only a handful number of 200 or 250 journalists got their accreditation card. Nowadays, I saw, because one newspaper will get three or five maximum, the largest newspapers, and one photographer. Editors does not require an accreditation card. But when I went to Bangladesh this May, I know that there are more than 5,500 people are with accreditation card. Why they are using this card, which is only used to give your identity to the government offices, particularly in the secretariat building? Anyway, those are abused, misused. So there should have been a policy before canceling the accreditation card, that we are going to enact a new accreditation card issuance procedure, and we'll follow that. But unfortunately, it has not been envisaged so far. So some of the failures are there. Those are not the biggest failures. The biggest failure, I think, is still the law and order situation has not returned to the society in fully, because there are many drawbacks. People know that. We don't need to repeat again and again. But still, we can say the police forces are used, are abused, or misused by the previous government, and then the police are hiding from the wrath of the people immediately after the fall of Sheikh Hasina regime. And now still there's a lack of confidence to police, as well as the police's lack of confidence to people. So still there are some big gaps. So in summary, I can tell you that the what they have taken, we know that they said, mentioned, we have taken 121 recommendations from the reforms commissions, and 16 so far implemented, and also another 85 are under process. There is a question from my side, that is, there is a media reforms commission. Those are not very much required for the political commitments they could have done. None of those have been done so far. So some of the reforms still they can do, and they have another 5 to 6 months in their hand. I think they should do it before the election. Before the election, that means whenever the political government will come, they might be doing a lot more, but the common aspects, common expectations of the people are still in the hands of the interim government. People are expecting so. And this government did not get support like the previous interim government of Justice Shahabuddin Ahmed in 1991, because that government got the support from the all three alliances, those who signed the framework, the guideline for an interim government. But this government came suddenly without any that kind of commitment from all political parties. So they are always under tremendous pressure from different groups. But there is a space for criticism. Before I finish, I'm going to tell that they have shown leniency to the NCP and the anti-discrimination students. That is a great space for criticism. I believe they will make some amendments in future.
Thank you so much, Shaikat Rushdee. We'll be again back to you with a different question. Now we are on Dr. Farooq Sheikh's opinion. We heard a lot of stories that robberies, killings, mob violence happening in Bangladesh. Police is not back to their normal function. So, in this situation, can we expect free and fair and less violence? Because Bangladesh election is one of the place where lots of people are killed, and violence is I think is the top of the world. That many people are normally killed during election. So, what is your take? As Professor Yunus promised, our most free and fair election would be happening under his administration. So, Farooq Sheikh, is Bangladesh capable, or Bangladesh current government is capable to have a free and fair election, or conduct a free and fair election?
I have heard two of my colleagues here with their opinion, and I'm on the ground here. And I can tell you what really has happened over the years, over the last several months, is we used to be afraid of RAB because they would be nabbing people. But RAB had a structure, it has a policy, it has a system. Whoever was nabbed somehow was listed somewhere, recorded somewhere, and he was imprisoned somewhere. Right now, what we have is the replacement of the RAB by mob. I don't know if anybody would know, but one of the leaders, I think one of the leaders, his name is Hassan Abdullah. He actually is on record telling students that you find and kill anybody, this comes under the purview of mob violence. What I'm trying to tell you that mob violence has been adopted as a strategy. It is not a spontaneous eruption of anger. It has been adopted as a strategy. And that's what is happening. So, about fair elections, how could there be a fair election when we are continuously and continually calling this as a people and students revolution, which would basically mean that the entire country is in line with the change, and then we outlaw or we withhold the electoral rights of one particular party. If that party is such a vulnerable party that the whole country stood against them, what's the point of not putting a death to them through electoral process? What is the fear? So this itself is a proof that we are actually contradicting ourselves. We're calling it a people's revolution, but in our heart we know it wasn't. And why do I say that? Well, look, Dr. Yunus is not just any man. He's not just any politician. He is an educated economist. He went to Vanderbilt. He would know the difference of using the word meticulous planning. He would know the meaning of that. Out in the US, he speaks that this was carried out with meticulous planning, and then he was in the back row. How would he ever explain it? This is not a slip. This is actually an utterance of truth. Because he again, after that, it's not the first mistake. The second mistake is he identified the students as mastermind. When do we have a mastermind for a spontaneous revolution? Tell me that. Did we have a mastermind for the French Revolution? We don't have masterminds. We have leaders. And mastermind basically means somebody who did the planning. And indeed, it was a planned thing. Why? Well, look at Brigadier Sakhawat's first statement after he became the Home Minister. He said there were bullets, deaths caused by 7.62 millimeter bullets. There is no talk after that. We are talking about justice. We are talking about the government which is going to set up a precedent of justice, a precedent of neutrality, a precedent of being for the unity of the people. The first statement that Dr. Yunus made was he will unite the country. He did not make an exception statement. He didn't say, I'll unite all the people except Awami Leaguers. He didn't say that. Is he carrying that out? He is not. All right. I might be mistaken. I'm just maybe anti-government there. But let me point out, if I am going to tell people of my country that I will bring to you justice, I will bring to you unprecedented political wisdom, I will bring to you reform, and then the first thing I do is I release myself of all the legal difficulties that I've been without any due process. Not only that, I I forgive myself of 660 crores of debt debt that I owe the government without explanation. Not only that, I go ahead and take the license for manpower export to Japan, and I keep on doing it. Now tell me, if you were there, would you call yourself a neutral person to be shepherding the country through a neutral election? It is not going to happen. It is not going to happen for a number of reasons. We recently know anybody. Recently, a person declared himself to be an independent candidate, incarcerated. Colonel Dr. Kalimullah, incarcerated. So this is happening. The process of stifling is going on. The Deep Show television had two journalists who just questioned the cultural advisor about his wife's background, about some facts of history, and they lost their jobs. Deep Show television is owned by my student. I asked them, why did you do that? The answer was, if we hadn't done it, they would come around, circle our TV station and burn it down. We call that freedom, sir? You tell me. Is that freedom? Are you setting up examples of tolerance which will ensure and put faith in people's heart that this will be a fair election? And forget all that. Dr. Yunus, he's an educated man, a mature man. He creates a drama about his resignation. Who in the world would ever do that? Who? If I'm a mature man, if I say one thing, I will tell you what, I will do it. I am a father of 3 sons. I never fudge my words. And he fudged his words in front of a whole nation. How can you expect people to trust it? Remember, before the election happens, it's the people's faith that matters. Do the people have that faith in his neutrality, in his objectiveness, in his fairness? Has he put such examples on the ground? He hasn't. Why is NCP getting all the attention, all the protocol? Why? Why? Why are these young students for whom people have given lives on the very day of the celebration, they go out to Cox's Bazar to have some vacation? How does it match up? Tell me. How does it match up? So these are questions which are going to dwell on the minds of people and making a decision about what is to be expected in the election. So my answer is no, sir. This is not going to be a fair election. And the feeling is the government will create some kind of situation that will actually make the election unexpected altogether. That is my answer, sir.
Thank you.
Kaji, can I provide an information in this regard?
Please
Just
go
one
ahead.
correction.
Yeah.
You know that there's another 6 months time in our hand for holding an election. Definitely, there are so many concerns. But one thing I need to mention about the Brigadier Shaikat Hussein's reference has been made by the Army League narrative all the time, and which is actually reflected in the statement of Dr. Farooq Sheikh. The new is on 9 September 2023. If you check it, please. Bangladesh police buy huge arms ammo ahead of polls. A news story on its 10th paragraph mentioned on March 23, the police headquarters initiated the procurement of 30 pieces of 7.62 millimeter sniper rifles. Actually, I checked it and I found it. It is police purchase in 2023. Brigadier Shaikat retired in 1994. After 30 years, when he took over the ministry as an advisor, probably he was not aware, by the 4 days he stated this on August 12, 2024, that how these 7.62 mm cartridges are used in this situation, because it is only used by the armed forces, but actually the police had those.
Thank you.
Actually,
Thanks for the information.
I just listened to Dr. Sakhawat's narrative. I didn't listen to anything else. I'm not saying anything here based on Awami League narrative. This is actually Brigadier Sakhawat's statements about its usage. I wouldn't know really, but the point is, you can see that the students, what should I call it, apathy on the August 7th, 5th, tells me that maybe it's not without foundation. If these two had really been in the crossfire of such a killing, what really impels and inspires them to leave the podium of August 5 and have celebration and vacation in Cox's Bazar? You tell me that. I don't know about this a U.S. ambassador. I'm not going to say that because I don't have any information. I'm trying to match the dots. And have you listened? Have you read any of the explanations? Atrocious. The long explanation they give actually tells that there is something on. Honestly, here's the thing. I'm a student. I'm a teacher. When a student comes to my room in Bangladesh, the first thing they tell me, late, they begin to explain to me. I say, look, when you make a mistake, the first thing you do is you say sorry. And you explain it to me when I ask for it. But the first thing you do is to say sorry. This is the basic tenet of professionalism, responsibility, and etiquette. Did these students at all say sorry? They are leading the country. I find them utterly irresponsible. Utterly irresponsible.
Thank you, Dr. Farooq Sheikh. It seems to me that it's not in our culture that we say sorry to anybody. It's like Awali, they killed that many people, they never said sorry. Not the leader, but the mass people. They're reading newspaper, looking at the examples, but nobody from that side never ever said, we are sorry what we did. So it seems in normal practice too, we hardly say sorry to other people.
No, I
Sorry doesn't
understand.
make any people low, but make the
No,
people
I
high. We
understand
all
that.
make mistakes.
But the moment I make a claim of idealism, Mr. Hassan, the moment I make the claim that I am going to be the different person, I am going to be the making a change, I will be careful. I don't expect this of anybody. But you see, the point is, Dr. Yunus made the claim that he is going to turn a page in the history of Bangladesh. These students made that claim. Well, they have to know what they're doing. See,
Exactly.
that is the difference. That is what I'm trying to make a point for. You make a claim, then you deliver that claim. If you don't, you cannot hide, you cannot justify one mistake by pointing it to other. This is exactly what is going on now. You tell them what's wrong, they will say, well, the last government was like, well, you didn't come to repeat the mistakes of the last government. You came here to change history. Don't forget that. This was your claim. Nobody put a gun on your head to say it. You said it voluntarily. And that you have to remember.
From my
I'm going
personal
to,
opinion, I'd like to add one thing, Dr. Farooq Sheikh. During the
yes,
Liberation War, most of the freedom fighters are youth. And the number was around 80,000, as if I understand from Major Hafiz and other freedom fighters, those who are in the Bangladesh Armed Forces. But the total number could be 150,000. Those are mostly youths. What are the expectations from them and what happened to them? And some of them, only less than 1%, may have done a lot of mistakes, but everything is blamed to them as well as the leaders. And they were armed. These students are not armed, and they might have done some mistake. Why we are putting our all responsibilities to a few students? They're not actually properly groomed up even in the last 50. I mean, what I say usually, Kaji, you may know that those who are below 35 years of age in Bangladesh, they have seen for the past 15 and 16 years a very immoral government and autocratic rule. They have grown up with that. So the morality, not necessarily everyone's, a few people, those who are in the leadership, maybe is not so as we expect. I
Uh,
may differ.
thank you,
Ambassador Dowla
Shaikat. I
may
have to stop you
differ with me.
here
Okay, sure.
because we
Thank
have
you.
other things to talk about. Now I'm going to
Definitely.
Ashraf-ud-Dowla. I'm going to put two questions together. First thing is, when Professor Yunus went to United States, he said the revolution or the changeover was planned meticulously. The word meticulously, that means it's been planned for a period of time. And another example, when he went to China, said that the Seven Sisters of India's only outlet is through Bangladesh. So both the statements have had huge implication. India didn't take it easily. They put a lot of restriction on Bangladeshi export to India. And also, the meticulous thing was defined, analyzed with different people in different ways. So first question to you is Professor Yunus is not diplomatically good enough to make those statements? That's number one question. And number two, during Hasina's last days, we have seen widespread use of armed forces killing people, including using UN machineries, vehicles, and guns, and so forth. So, you, again, Bangladesh is one of the top contributors to the United Nations Peace Force. So, is it going to give a wrong message to United Nations and the international world that Bangladesh doesn't do the stuff right? They use in their own interest the UN supplied machineries and equipments. So two questions together. One is it diplomatic enough? Number two, is it giving wrong message to the international arena?
Well, let me begin with the last question. International reaction. If you talk about it, have you found a single country, except for India, has condemned Bangladesh for what happened? Since the July Revolution. No. Have you found? Even the complaint against Bangladesh was taken before President Trump, that this thing is happening, that thing happening. There's a gross human rights violation. The Hindus are being killed. Was there any response from President Biden? Even when this what's her name, Tulsi Gabbard, came to India, and she was parroting the Indian narrative. But what happened after that? These issues were discussed at the Geneva Human Rights session, but there was not a single voice that was blaming Bangladesh. Yes, of course, we have to understand what happened in Bangladesh, in the following the July Revolution. If we look at history, the French Revolution, which took 10 years, it was anarchy for 10 long years. And in Bangladesh, such a densely populated country, a people which have been systematically deprived. We see this mob culture. Of course, I'm against it, but how this mob culture, do you think that it was sponsored by the government? Because the feeling inside, that the sense of deprivation, the sense of betrayal, that they have always elected people and they have put them down. They have done nothing for them. What they have, the leaders they have done, these people have done, all these educated people that we say, all these old philosophers, all these, we are intellectuals. What have we really done? You look at in last 16 years, that was there a single intellectual who was protesting against Hasina? They were all licking her feet, including the judiciary. So whole system was as a league. We had the police league, we had the administration league, we had the judicial league. We have all these leagues, in this country. So people didn't have a space to breathe. So once this thing happened, and it is honest, you must. While of course, I do not approve what the students are doing, but you have to understand the psychology. When the country for the last 16 years were traumatized by the Awami League government, no one took part, no one came forward. It is the students, as he said, as Shaikat rightly said, that during the War of Liberation, yes, we were underarmed, but we had armed. We could fight back. But these students, they were unarmed, and they they stood before this marauding police and the way the police were killing. So you have to understand their psychology. You have to understand their feelings. We cannot say we can say a lot of big things sitting in the living room, but they were there right in front of the bullets. And this is Saeed from Rangpur, just see the sheer courage. He just opened his chest like that. You want to kill me? Kill me. But I am not going to give up my right of democracy. So you have to understand. But again, with regard to the human rights issue, that there are a lot of issues. In fact, the other day, there was I think 2-3 days ago, there was a BBC interview. She asked this question, and Dr. Yunus has responded them. I think his response were very appropriate. But of course, Dr. Yunus is not a politician. He has been a social worker. He has been a teacher, and the things that he has done in this country, I don't think that anyone can match what he has done. But we are very fast at criticizing him. He did not do this. He did not do this. He could do this. Yes, we can speak aloud. We can speak a lot of things. But when it comes to the field, no one has demonstrated that what you have done, I have done better than you. You show me one person that he can demonstrate it. That Yunus is a total failure, and I have done better than this. During this, of course, look at this. He literally climbed on the mouth of a living volcano. Not a single day he passed peacefully. There are attacks from every side, the political side, from India, from other other sectors, vested quarters. But just see that it almost came to the failed state. Almost Bangladesh was becoming failed state. But slowly, given his character, slowly with patience, with his kindness, he handled the thing because he felt it. The people have been deprived for years, for decades. So this is the outburst of their sentiment, outburst of their feelings. Now it has subsided. Yes, because why? Because the police were a very much part and parcel of the Awami League draconian rule. So there were people's aggression or people's sentiment against them. But things are coming down. Now police have started working. And the elections that are coming, the government is taking. Of course, You just cannot have in any society an ideal system. No countries in the world, but these people who have come as advisors, they have come with they may not have any previous experience, but they come a huge amount of goodwill. There is an allegation today, I think, or yesterday, made by a private secretary of former Prime Minister Khalid, that there are allegations of corruption against eight advisors, but he has not produced. He has made a claim, and he has not produced any evidence. And he has been, and his party has disassociated from his remarks. And Mirza Fakhruddin said that whatever statement he made, it is his personal. He did not speak of the, for the party. So we are going through a huge catharsis process. We have to understand. People are Bangladeshi people are, first of all, we are contradictory. We have huge, what you call complex. We are a complex society, and we do not know what to do, how to do, and how to proceed. We are very, very good at, creating violence. Very good at agitation, creating agitation. But has there been anyone who has given an advice that please do this, please do this? Only criticize. In the social media, in the mainstream media, but I have not seen any constructive suggestion. As I said that, I don't know, I'm not much knowledgeable as Shaikat is, and Dr. Farooq Sheikh is a teacher, honorable teacher, with a lot of depth of knowledge. I have been continuously writing. Even on 31st January 2024, I wrote a piece. I was dare enough to write a piece. That piece was in Dhaka Tribune. It was then converting politics of confrontation to politics of accommodation. That was the title, and I wrote very clearly. Directing at Sheikh Hasina, that in the last 15-20 years, what you have done well. People will remember you. But what is happening in the near future? If you don't readjust yourself, if you don't accommodate them, bring them together, not only that your whatever you have earned will be lost, but you will be completely, totally erased from history, and that has exactly happened. Somehow that we have a tendency. Everyone in Bangladesh is a dictator himself, either in the family or in himself or in his thoughts or his philosophy. We are all a dictator. We do not want to give a space to others' opinion. We are right. I am right. So this is what is our nature. But I hope that having said all these things, having said that people make mistakes, and there is no doubt Dr. Yunus has made mistakes, and these are not mistakes that he had committed intentionally. Maybe his way of handling things are different. With regard to what he said that in China about
Seven Sisters.
Seven Sisters, there is I think a diplomatic background. When you push to the wall, you have to also assert your own strength. It is not necessary that you are going to apply them. The way India attacked Bangladesh after the departure of Sheikh, fleeing of Sheikh Hasina, internationally they made Bangladesh a failed country, a country where human rights violation is a staple. The way they misinformation, disinformation, the lies, and this is just look at it. And this is a country which claim that they are the largest democracy in the world, and the same country has helped Hasina to destroy democracy in this country.
Yeah.
So where is
please conclude, Ambassador Ashraf-ud-Dowla. Please conclude this statement.
Yes, that's what I think. We have to have patience. This government, as far as I am concerned, I have seen their living in Bangladesh. I have very closely monitored their activities. As of course, I'm a very strong critic of certain things that they did not do well. But I hope that we will reach to the point, to our destination, where the nation is waiting for. That's what I say. And
Thank you.
Can I make
that
one
actually
comment on the back of?
specifically I mean about the election. Election will be held. What kind of election it will be happen? I do not know. Whether election will happen, I do not know. Maybe Dr. Farooq Sheikh has said
I
very
told you
clearly.
exactly. But may I make
I'll
one
just
comment?
finish.
Yes,
I'll
Yeah,
finish.
please.
one
I'll
Please.
comment.
finish. I'll finish with one quote. I read a book called Black Swan. I don't know if you have read it. It is written by a Lebanese Christian called Michael Thyre. And the Black Swan means that the Europeans thought the swans only comes in white, unless they had gone to Australia and they found that the swan also comes in black color. So what I'm trying to say that no one knows what will happen tomorrow. I don't know. Nobody knows. So there are a lot of ifs and buts in the in the version of the army chief, ifs and buts. So there could always be many ifs and buts. But I think the whole nation is geared to having election. But again, election is necessarily it's not necessarily a panacea for the development of for the peace, for the stability, development of the nation.
Thank you, Mr. Ashraf-ud-Dowla. Dr.
Can I
Farooq
make
Sheikh, yeah, you
just
have something to add,
1 minute comment? So you
please.
said that nobody said anything positive. If you go back and look at the issues of Dhaka Tribune and BD News 24, I wrote an article, and it was an open letter to the chief advisor. I said, look, we as a country, we cannot really go through disruptions. The best for us is to make compromises. We don't really know what is the difference between you and Sheikh Hasina. You have international network and she has managerial skill. Why don't you patch up your differences and try to lead the government in a more compromised and collaborative way? This is something I wrote at that time. I have never
Sir,
been for.
I am sorry,
But
sir. I don't
before I
think
finish,
that it
let
is
me
a
finish.
very
Let me finish.
saying. I'm
Let me
sorry,
finish,
sir.
sir. Let me finish. So that is one article I had pointed out that as an interim government, your mandate will be never to go for reforms because these reforms will have to be ratified by a parliament. And the only way you can ensure that is if you make sure that the party that comes to power after you is a party you like. That basically means that you will never have a fair election. Number one. Number two, I wrote an open letter to the student. I told them, look, you came under the banner of fairness. You came under the banner of idealism. You came under the banner of job by meritocracy. Now tell me how you qualify to lead the destiny of a nation by taking advisory roles when you are not even done through your education. How do you do that? By doing so, you are simply killing your own legacy. Please step down and get somebody more experienced to have your position. It is to build your own legacy. I told them this also. That look, students have played a great role in this country. If you corrupt that legacy, we will not even have that ideal body anymore. So please be mindful of our history. Try to retain the pristine quality of our student body so that in future they can also play the role of conscience. I wrote these two articles. No, I am not always negative, sir. I give my piece as much as I can in my position. And as far as Dr. I mean, if you are going to be so charitable to Dr. Yunus that he did not make any mistake, well, you have to be charitable to everybody. If you are going to say that he did not make a mistake on purpose, then I'll tell you what, in fairness, we have to allow everybody the same room, the same scale, that they did not make the mistake on purpose. You see, that is a conundrum. That's a difficult issue. That's the reason I don't say anything like that, because the scale has to be the same.
Okay, thank you. Let's move on with our discussion. I'm going to Shaikat Rushdee now. So let's talk about, if we consider Dr. Yunus's age and the international fame he has, we believe, or most people believe, that he shouldn't have any political ambition to be the next president or the prime minister of the country. But again, he never cleared up his voice about NCP, National, somebody called Children's Party, or National, what stand for Citizens Party, I'm sorry, NCP. So what is your take here? They are saying it's not a King's Party, but all the evidence are there that government is sponsoring this party. So what would you say? Why Yunus government is sponsoring the student-led party, and as Farooq Sheikh That was now the last resort not to be get corrupted. All other institutions have been already corrupted. So what would you say? What's your analysis? Was that a good decision on behalf of Professor Yunus?
Not really.
Please go ahead.
Definitely not to back any political party, whether it is by the students or by any other group or from armed forces backed, whatever. But there is a lot of pressure in Bangladesh. When I was in Bangladesh, I found in the May and June, actually, majority of the population, more than 70-75% people are very happy with the current government. The reason is the stability in the economic sector. They are not very much interested about the reforms, but the educated people, those who actually uh, dreaming for a better understanding of the governance in Bangladesh, they are looking forward for reforms. Only those people are pessimistic, those who are very much inclined with the previous regime, that I found. But their narrative, their propaganda has been fueled up in a way, particularly because of the academicians, many of the academicians, and as you know, the Sammilito Sanskritik Jot, those allied cultural alliance, those who are actually remained almost silent in the last 15 to 16 years because they are pumped huge amount of monetary benefits from different perspective, whether it is a position in Shilpo Kala Academy, director general position, or different kind of things like writing books on Bangabandhu. Salimullah Khan was telling the other day some 230 million taka has been spent for only 16 or 17 writers to write books on freedom, liberation war, but all books are actually titled with Bangabandhu, nothing else. But when they are reviewing, they're getting only 2,000 or 3,000 taka for reviewing. Finally, they cancel the project. So they remain silent. Now we know from different sources that the money is still, those who are the money laundered outside are being used by the Army League backed groups to criticize this government and undermine this government's any positive outcome. From the King's Party perspective, what I can say, the National Citizen Party or NCP and is not the total face of the student movement. The student movement was very important, and many of those, including Umama Fatima and several other coordinators and many people have uh, actually removed themselves. They resigned from the anti-discrimination students group, and they are not still with NCP. Majority of them are with NCP, but the coordinators are not the all people, and those who lost their lives, those are not coordinators except Abu Said. So those who are in the forefronts, those who led the student movements, actually, those are not with the NCP. NCP has the most of the coordinators. Anyway, but still the government should have not provided deliberate support, protection to the NCPs when they went to Gopalganj and many other places, full protection. But definitely there are places their life are threatened. And since they uh, toppled down an autocratic regime, there should have been some protection from the police forces, not necessarily the armed forces. That I personally felt, because they have done a great job and they should be protected. But if they do a misdeed, if they go for extortion of money or doing something like money laundering, they should not be protected. So far, if they're doing something unlawful, we haven't seen they are given protection. What we have seen, they have maybe using the political strength in different aspects, and they are deliberately protected by the law enforcement agencies. That is true, and that should have
Okay,
not been. And one more
please,
thing.
Can I
please
make
continue.
little intervention? Can I make
Yes,
little intervention
please
to
make it short.
yeah, I to compliment Shaikat's statement. Look, Bangladesh, Gopalganj is not another country. Gopalganj is part of Bangladesh. And these NCP people, they have visited all the places in the country and they have gone to Gopalganj, knowing fully well they have the courage to go to Gopalganj and outreach to reach out to the people of Gopaljganj. And here, with the instigation of Hasina hiding, hiding in India, she mobilized a mob that there should be, or these people would have been killed if had the police was not there. So do you think that it would have been right for the police not to protect them just because they belong to one party or another? Would that be a good thing? Would that be a morally good thing that these people are killed? And secondly, as far as the corruption of the students coordinators are concerned, the only other day, 4 students were arrested, when they went to a former MP's house. They were arrested and they have been detained and they were taken to the, what you call, remand. So, they are getting, they are being brought under, accountability. It is not that they have all the free for all, everything. So, there is it is coming back. It is now coming
Thank you,
back.
Ambassador Ashraf. We have to move on. Thank you so much for your input.
Kaji,
Yes,
I just
please.
want to add one more sentence about the first part of your question. So far, we know in 2008 and 9, Professor Yunus has expressed his interest for political leadership, but not now. He has not expressed. The students actually requested him, and we know everything about that. The situation, how the chief of army staff tried to do someone else, maybe one of the advisors, to be the chief advisor, but eventually the students made it confirmed that Professor Yunus should come, and after 3 days of deliberations he agreed, and that was not a bad thing. I think it's a good thing for the nation. At the age of 85, he did not show political aspirations. He showed several years ago, 16 17 years ago. That I can say.
We sincerely hope you're right. If we look at Malaysia, Mahathir Mohamad became prime minister again and again in his 90s. So let's see, because he's not making his stand clear. There's a question or comment from one of our viewers. He's saying, our chief advisor visited 12 countries in his 12 months in office, including tomorrow's Malaysia trip, but he's very much reluctant to go outside of Dhaka. What's your comment? Okay, I'm going to go to Dr. Farooq Sheikh for his answer on this. And also I'm going to add another question with this. So that will be his last question of the show to him. I hope he is going to explain it really good. We have seen over and over that government is going to judiciaries or the High Court or Supreme Court and taking verdict on their favor. One example could be creation or abolition of caretaker government, and also the creation of interim government. They went to court and get verdict on their favor. So first question is Professor Yunus is making his stance clear to the people, because he hardly talks to the journalists of Bangladesh. When he goes outside of the country, he talks to the newspaper and the media, but he doesn't talk, he doesn't answer to anybody. It's hard to say if he's following all the development of Bangladesh or not. So what's your take on this, that there is no question answerability from Professor Yunus? And number two, the trend being set in Bangladesh going to judiciary and get the verdict in their favor. So what's your intake on these two issues? Please make it short, as we are running out of time.
Are you asking me to answer this question?
Please, yeah, both of them.
Okay, so the first question, the first question is about the independence of the judiciary. Is that a question?
The first question was from one of our viewers asking that he been visiting 12 countries.
Yeah, I mean, that is one of the very difficult questions to answer. I mean, a leader should do what he has to do, but whether he can really cite these 12 travels abroad as something that has made a significant contribution to the stability and the economic development, that's very questionable. That's very questionable. But those what we can point out is these are very expensive trips. These are very expensive trips. And and I'm beginning to think, because one of the claims he made, and these are his claims, that I'm an international player. Now, I know that there have been many great leaders in the world, since World War II, but I have never heard anybody making a claim like this to his people that I'm an international player. An international player plays his game. He is too busy playing his game. He never makes a claim. So I'm not sure if these trips are really to justify the claim he made, or he's really doing some, the phenomenal work to entice or invite in foreign direct investment. There is no significant FDI in the country so far I know. So, but it's very difficult for me to either blame or to justify. But if I were in his shoes, and this was the first year of a disruptive change, my biggest focus would have been my people. I would have gone from place to place. Why does NCP go from one place to another? Why not Dr. Yunus? Dr. Yunus is the one who should be going to Gopalganj. He should be the one going to all places and regimenting people on his side. Why is NCP doing it? And NCP, when it takes a political position of opposition to the place where a very revered leader is buried, and when they have this legacy of having demolished his house, really tell me what is the political wisdom in for them to take this rather foolhardy decision to go to Gopalganj? What are they trying to prove? They are patriotic. Is that what they're trying to prove? I do not deny that they don't have the right. But what I'm saying is, if you're going to unite the country, you have to be pragmatic. You have to be sensitive to the sentiment of the people. You have to do that. When Bangabandhu went to Pakistan, he spoke in Urdu. And he said, many of you leaders can't speak in Bangla, but let me try by speaking in Urdu. You see, you're trying to vibe and harmonize and resonate with the sentiments of the people. That is what responsible and conscious political parties do. So, yes, Dr. Yunus's travel abroad is very expensive to the nation, but did he achieve anything? I hardly doubt that. But the Ambassador Dowla would be the better person to answer this. But in my opinion, that is not a political choice I would have made. The next question, please. Mr. Qazi Hassan, would you
About the judicial, going to judicial body, making a
Yeah,
plan.
the point is that the judicial body has become very questionable in this country. And we are no different from what it was in the Hasina's era or in the era of Khaleda Zia. Unfortunately, our politicians, whoever they are, whenever they come to power, I think the first target for their continuity and to protect them is to really the judiciary, and the judiciary has not risen very high. I mean, one of the things I could point out is the appointment of the prosecutor general to prosecute the ex-prime minister Sheikh Hasina, when the same prosecutor was really defending the Jamaat Islami leaders in the ICC court. How can you expect really some fairness coming out there? This is a glaring example. This is a glaring example. How can you try the PM without giving his party the full breadth of investigation into the killings and the deaths of the people that are? She claims that she did not order any killing. And it is she's on record saying that she had invited the UN committee to come and investigate the deaths and the killings. This is on public record. Why is she not getting that opportunity as the trial is progressing? I'm citing this not in favor of the Prime Minister. I'm citing this to point out how skewed the judicial system is.
Which prime minister is it you are
The
talking
ex-prime,
about, Dr. Farooq Sheikh?
ex-prime,
Oh, you didn't
ex-prime.
say ex. You thought still
Yes,
Sheikh Hasina is the prime minister of Bangladesh?
ex-prime. No, I'm saying ex-prime minister.
I think your
Because
psyche is involved with that.
no, I'm saying ex-prime minister.
I'm
She has
sorry to
been
say.
training.
Dr. Farooq Sheikh, Dr. Farooq
Yes,
Sheikh, one
yes.
intervention. You are talking about that where Hasina sent an invitation to the UN Human Rights Commission to come and investigate.
She had claims. She
Did
claimed
she?
that she had invited the UN to come and investigate the
I have
deaths.
not seen any such
This is
evidence. I have not
this
seen
is on
any
public
such letter.
record.
Now
This is on
let me tell
public.
you. No,
I
this
was
is
in the
no,
US
no.
at that
Let me tell you. Let me tell you.
time. May I request
Wakath,
one thing?
no,
May I request one thing? May I request one thing? Can we maintain civility here? You see,
Yes,
I can
please.
see that all two of you are in favor of the current government. My position is neither in favor nor against, but I am the devil's advocate here. Yes, please
Yeah,
go
please
ahead.
go ahead and complete. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Dr. Farooq, please complete your statement.
So what I'm saying is the evidence is out there that this judiciary is not independent and is not going to be independent. The student has circled the Supreme Court. The very the very references that are assumed to be the basis of the justification of the interim government has come under scrutiny, and there has not been one clear white paper on this. You tell me, what evidence is there if the route itself is really, very foggy? How can anyone go ahead in the thinking the judiciary is free? It is not. But then, was it free under any government? I wouldn't say so. But then this government had claimed that it was going to turn a new chapter. So, by its own claim, it's at fault. No other government had made such tall claims, but this government had. That is what we have to remember. We have to hold people against the benchmark of their own claims.
Yes.
Dr. Farooq sir, Dr. Farooq sir, I wish to make a comment.
Please.
During 16 years of Sheikh Hasina's rule, why did not she sign the UN Charter of Human Rights? And the responsibility came on the interim government. Was that a bad thing? And it is during the interim government that they invited the High Commissioner for Human Rights. They came, they made a full investigation of their own without any interference. Dhaka took, when he returned back, and he submitted a report, and which is very clear. You are a very knowledgeable person, sir. You can read it. So what it is written. So I'm not sure that Dhaka took was paid by the interim government, to issue a very favorable, report of the interim government. It was one of the most heinous condemnation of the Sheikh Hasina government about a human rights violation, about a kleptocracy, about how she destroyed the economy, how she destroyed people's life, how she destroyed democracy, everything. Please read it. I would
Dear
like
sir,
to read
due
it.
respect,
Let's
with due
move. Yeah,
respect,
please.
with due
Please make it
respect,
short.
I have developed tremendous, doubts about the neutrality and the fairness of UN.
All
The
right.
UN that is
Okay.
the UN that is dictated by the US on its terms, the UN bodies are dictated by the US on its terms is really a very difficult
Another
UN.
point, I forgot. Another point I have
But
to make.
the
The
point,
British
for
Parliament.
instance,
Listen,
you
sir,
see the
listen.
the point.
Sir,
You see the
listen.
point is
Sir, Dr.
you
Farooq,
don't have to
sir.
go anywhere. You don't have to go anywhere. You look at the situation in Gaza. Has the UN been of any effect there? You just is a glaring example, the glaring example of humanitarian crisis and disaster. What has the UN done? Please tell me.
Oh,
Please
come on,
enlighten
sir.
me.
You are now
Now, once
now
again,
you
now
are
let
Uh,
me also tell
straying
you.
from
So
the focus.
these are
I
very
think
Sir,
difficult
listen.
questions.
Sir, listen. Okay, listen, sir. Listen to me.
No, this is a very
Please.
polarized world.
No, no.
That's
Please
what I'm
give me a
saying.
minute. Please
Yes.
give me a
respected
minute. No, no. Please
both
give
of
me a
you,
minute.
both the panelists, please.
The
We are
British
going to a different
Parliament.
direction,
No,
so
no.
please
Please,
come.
please give me a minute. A parliamentary delegation sponsored by Keir Starmer visited Bangladesh, and they submitted a report which was in condemnation of the interim government. But when within the British Parliament it was protested, it was asked question, and that delegation they had to withdraw their report, from the Parliament. So this is the justification, sir. This is the reality, sir.
Now, I do
I'm
not
sure
say
you
that
know
the
that.
last government did not do
I'm not
atrocities.
trying to manufacture something new.
No, I am not claiming that the last government did not resort to atrocities. Sir. I'm not saying any of that. What I'm saying is that nobody's free of it.
Uh,
That's what I'm saying.
Thank you, Dr.
I'm not,
Farooq Sheikh,
I'm not saying they are not.
and Mr. Ashraf. Thank you so much for your insightful opinions. Um, the beauty of democracy is we agree to disagree.
Yes,
So that's what will
with
happen,
respect and
and
with
we
dignity.
appreciate that.
Yes,
Since we are
with
running out of
mutual
time,
respect, with mutual respect and
absolutely,
dignity.
yes.
Yes.
So if we have points, we have logic to make, we're going to do that. So we will be respectful to each other. Our final question of the show today to Shaikat Rushdee. There was a news only a couple of days ago. Awami League set up an office in Kolkata, and all of their leaders are ganging up in different places. Some of the top leaders have met Sheikh Hasina, and in Europe and America, all of their people are setting up those different units of Awami League. So, do you think it's going to destabilize? And also, if you can put the example here, there was a training camp conducted by a military officer. So, everything together, do you think Army League is capable to make the country destabilize? Last question, please make it short because you're out of time. Shaikat Rushdee.
Thank you. Very important question. Before going to that extent, I just want to answer one thing to Dr. Farooq's comment. I believe that it will be very short, that I'm not in favor of the current government. I'm only in favor of the facts. And he was giving some misinformation that about the United Nations. You know that in February, Bangladesh United Nations report was there. UN report finds brutal, systematic repression of protest, calls for justice for serious rights violation. Already, UNHCR has already investigated about the brutality of Sheikh Hasina regime here. And he also later on mentioned in response to Ambassador Dowla's claim that he says that there's no faith on United Nations. That's why he is actually resorting to bringing United Nations again in this context. I don't know. But in response to your questions, I would like to say, yes, it is very alarming. It is not only a matter of great concern, but it is alarming the way Awami League is going to do. Awami League is a political party, 75 years old, I think. They could have they continue their political activities, not necessarily always in Bangladesh. They can do in abroad also. But the way they're doing, as you also already mentioned, and the news appearing in media and social media, we know that opening an office with the blessings and approval of the central government of India, that is alarming. And really, Bangladesh government should address this. If they can continue an office in Calcutta or Kolkata, why shouldn't Bangladesh should allow an office of Alpha in Bangladesh again? That's my questions. That is tit for tat behave. I don't know whether Bangladesh can do that, but Bangladesh can protest at least, and they can ask Indian government as that you should not allow Awami League to run an office in India. And there is no such offices in other countries like that. They're doing now with the approval of their, the intelligence bureaus and intelligence offices. Yes, there is an office here as a cultural organization in Toronto. We know it is known as the Awami League Canada Inc. That means they are registered as a charity or cultural organization, not as a political party in abroad. But in Kolkata, they are allowed to do that. That is alarming. As well as the, I don't know whether he's arrested, that Major Sadiq, and his wife is
He was arrested, yeah.
I'm not sure about the arrest of Major Sadiq. I know he is detained by the army, but no arrest information has been given so far. Yes, and another Lieutenant Gulshan Ara is known in from social media. She is also mobilizing some forces, not forces means political forces, armed forces people and other people, and they're providing training. Those are really alarming. So what happened actually? The government, the interim government, not has taken drastic actions, and they did not resort to brutality as Awami League regime has done to their opponents, because I don't think this government is doing something for their political ambitions. What they are trying to do, they are trying to bringing in a shape with some reforms and holding a free and fair elections. And as in response to another question, like Dr. Farooq Sheikh said, she should have gone to Gopalganj, not to abroad. If he had a political ambition, he should have gone to Gopalganj and other districts, or at least not 64 districts, at least 7 other divisional headquarters. Since Professor Yunus have not shown any political ambition, because of that, he has not gone there. So far, I understand from my point of view. But he has gone to abroad to bring in some far-reaching fruits for Bangladesh. And his next trip to Malaysia is also being taken, as well as the Chinese, his visit to China was also, we know it is going to bring some good results for Bangladesh, but we can wait and see before criticizing. Yes, it was expensive, as the head of governments are expensive. But these people, those who are now criticizing this government, I don't accept that the expense being done. But still, they did not criticize the expenses by the previous president, Jilur Rahman and Abdul Hamid, for their minimum health care, which could have been done in
Please
Bangladesh.
conclude
And
in
the
the
former
30
Prime
seconds,
Minister.
Shaikat Rushdee.
Yes, I'm going to
Qazi
complete.
Hassan, you have to give me 1 minute. I mean, you had a question.
Okay.
You had
Okay,
a
please.
The most
Yes.
important thing is that these are alarming. The government should take this very seriously, and they should bring this Kolkata office closed down with the help of Indian government. I believe if India wants to have a cordial relationship with Bangladesh, they should not allow to continue a hidden office in India from for Army League or any other political party. That's my personal point of view, and I understand that should be the case for every sovereign country. And I am now, I would like to conclude with only one sentence, that I want to look forward for the elections. I'm not sure whether the election will be held in February, but we are expecting so. But it could be deferred, I believe, because to bring the situation, law and order situation in Bangladesh better, to hold a free and fair election. But the government is under pressure from different kinds, like the head of the army is a brother-in-law of former ousted Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, and also they are putting some pressure continuously, as Mr. Dowla has already mentioned, and also the BNP had put a lot of pressure on this government, because they thought within the 3 months, if there is an election, they will get 2/3 majority. But actually,
Okay,
this
thank you.
government has not come. Yeah, I'm finishing. The
Yeah.
government has not come only for holding a free fair election. They have come for bringing the government, this country, back into its wheels.
Thank you.
Qazi
Yeah,
Hassan,
Shahidullah,
I
please.
just want to take 1 minute to
Please.
respond to one of your questions, which has international implication. That you had asked, what is the status of the Bangladesh peacekeeping forces? Will they be allowed to continue their service, or they will be drawn back? There has been no such report. The peacekeeping force operations. They are continuing to going to participate in the peacekeeping operations, and in fact, they have said that they have installed a mechanism for due diligence and checking of the past record. So, in fact, today there are more than 5,000 Bangladesh peacekeeping forces are in 8 places in the world. They are operating, and there has been no indication that there would be a suspension or temporary suspension of taking the peacekeeping forces for Bangladesh.
Thank you. Make it clear.
Although the Army League had been trying that it should be stopped. Let me tell you.
Thank you so much,
Yes.
Mr. Ashraf-ud-Dowla. Dr. Farooq, Sheikh, do you want to make any concluding comments?
Just one comment, yeah. So just to make this clear to you, what I have been asking, and I have written that, that the best way for the government of Bangladesh is to form a national unity government. That's exactly what I was pointing out. All political parties are at fault in one way or the other, and a national government would have given us a longer, mandate of tenure, so we won't be under pressure of elections, and we could really push the reforms with a common stamp and approval from all the parties. That has been my position. As far as the Awami League's operation from India, I agree with Mr. Rushdie, but I would still say that that this government should really avoid all situations that gives incentive to any opposition to really find itself in a position of going outside there or going in exile and forming a political activity or a locus of political activity. That should not happen. But again, the issue, the question that we have had I mean, the question that was made that Dr. Yunus has no political ambition and therefore no need to go to Gopalganj. I disagree with that. He came to unite the country. That was his statement, not mine. That is the statement he made, that he was going to unite the country. It is in the spirit of creating that unity that he should have gone to all the people. And it is the spirit of that unity that he should have formed a national unity government. That is my position. As I said, and about UN, well, tell me when there was the house on Road 32 was demolished. Many houses of this Awami League leaders were burnt and demolished. What is UN doing about those? Did it make any statement about it? You tell me. How could I say that this UN is actually neutral? It is not. It is not. It is getting its dictations from somewhere. And you talk about sovereignty, sir. You tell me, how could the corridor, how could the St. Martin Island fit into the idea of sovereignty? You tell me.
Okay, I think we
Yes.
have to
That's
stop
where I'm
right
going to
here.
stand. And
Okay,
again, Mr. Hassan, I really have to leave because I have another meeting to attend. But
please.
gentlemen, we have different opinions, but we are trying to do the same thing for our country. Bring it to a path of stability, bring it to a path of goodness. I have no preference. I want all my political leaders to unite and stop biting each other. They're all good and they find the goodness in each other. And whatever there is flaw, they should forgive each other. But they must unite and build the country. With that,
Yes.
gentlemen, I will go. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Farooq Sheikh. It's very, very important that we unite for the longer purpose and for the reason of the country. We're going to debate, we're going to disagree. That's the beauty of democracy. We will continue that and we will respectfully do that. Democracy is majority people's opinion. If we do wrong one time, we will be rectifying it next time. And one election, free and fair election is not the result or guarantee of democracy being established. We have to see few more election. And also very important thing, we have to see that there's a democracy within a party who wants to rule the country. If there is no democracy in the party itself, how can we expect the party will establish democracy in the country? Thank you so much, Professor and Dr. Farooq Sheikh, Ambassador Ashraf-ud-Dowla, and Shaikat Rushdee, our good friend of Bird's View, as the political and media analyst. Thank you so much. I appreciate the time. We had a long discussion and analysis on a very important and crucial issue impacting Bangladesh. Thank you so much. We hope to get you again in our future program.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so very much. Dr.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
All
All right. Thank you.